What's up, YouTube? It's Joseph Aziz. Today's another training. This one's called How to Go on a Listing Appointment. We're here at Prestige Property Group with all the realtors, teaching them how to properly secure a listing appointment after they've spent all this time calling and finally got their foot in the door, things that they should do once they're at the house on this appointment. So stay tuned for this training and make sure you like and subscribe. Guys for coming. I appreciate you all being here. This training is basically what to do on a listing appointment once you're at the house. I think every training we've done is like cold calling, what you should do every day for your daily schedule. We haven't had a training that basically goes over what to do at the house, because the last thing you want to do is spend hours cold calling on the phone. You get your foot in the door finally and you fuck it up, right? Who here has fucked up a listing appointment? I fucked up bad. I fucked up a lot over the last 10 years. So this training is to make sure you guys don't do the same mistakes that I made, because I have spent countless hours cold calling. I no longer cold call. Ari.
Yes, right here.
Oh, what's up, man? Ari cold calls for me. But now I pay Ari per appointment. So I still can't fuck up, right? Because if I fuck up, it's monetary value. It's not just my time. When I first started in the business, my time was free. I was worthless. I didn't have any knowledge, any information. But now I have everything I need, but I'm paying per appointment. So I still can't fuck up. So before I dive into it, I want Ari to give a spiel about like just how hard it is to get my foot in the door when you're calling. So what would you say to people who are calling on the phone every single day to try to get a listing appointment? What advice would you give them to just secure that appointment?
A few tricks that I use, like don't try to sound like a normal salesperson, right? I don't know how many of you guys were here when we did it back in July, was it, Joe?
I feel like 50% of people were here.
And I said it back then, I'll say it again. Don't sound like a typical salesperson, because again, these people get calls all the time, right? Like I was doing a one-on-one with John and Ella. You know, I joke, I try to be funny. You know, one guy's like, who is this? I'm like, Ari. He goes, I don't know an Ari. I'm like, you do now. And you know what I'm saying? Just try to be a little different.
The normal person.
Yeah, try to be normal. Because
Not
like I
robot.
said, they get calls all the time from everybody.
Yep.
So if you can connect with them, relate to them on a funny mode, you know, try not to sound like, again, like a normal salesperson.
Yeah. Don't be a robot.
Don't be a robot.
Casual tone, high energy. And that's a perfect segue into your energy when you're going on a listing appointment. When you're on a listing appointment, no matter what, none of this matters. You could do all of this perfectly. If your energy is not right, you're not getting the appointment. If your energy isn't calm, collected, educated, well-spoken, good listener, high energy, positive attitude that radiates, you're radiating positivity. They want to work with you. You want to get these people to work with you. There's so many realtors. There's so many realtors. There's pros and cons to being a young realtor. We're all young here. There's pros and cons to being young realtors. The pros, some people want a more energetic person who has that drive. Maybe somebody's been doing real estate for too long. 40 years in the business, some of these realtors. 20 years, 30, 40 years. It's crazy. They've lost their spark. Same thing with any type of sales. You do it for too long and you lose your energy. I'm shopping for a car right now. I walked into a car dealership. I was shocked. I was shocked at like how the guy was talking. He barely got out of his chair. Sales is dead. But if you're good at sales and you do it right, you're going to be king or queen of sales. King or queen of that appointment. Before you go on that listing appointment, there's things that you guys need to figure out. Some things you're not going to figure out on the phone. Some things you're going to figure out in person. I just made a list of questions, and these questions are either going to be said by Ari or you when you're cold calling, or at the house. And the trick with these questions is you can't really let it be known that you're asking the question. I don't know if that makes sense, but you like one of the questions is anyone else involved in the sale of the house? But asking that question is a little weird and awkward, right? So like there are questions that you guys go throughout the listing appointment that you're just gathering information. You're like an information vacuum when you're going on this listing appointment. That high energy is super important, but also your information vacuum. I'll tell you, I'll just run down the list of questions, all right? Can you tell me your situation and goals for selling? That's the biggest one. You actually should know that before the listing appointment. Because the last thing you want to do is go on a listing appointment where the guy just doesn't care. He has no interest in selling. He might be bored. It's a waste of time, right? I've been on those. When would you ideally like to close and move out? You guys are all going to get a copy of this, by the way. So you don't have to take notes. If you want to take notes, feel free. Have you made any updates or renovations to the home? That's one of the questions you're going to ask as you're walking through the house with the client. Is anyone else involved in the sale? This is a big one. What price did you have in mind? This is a big one for many reasons. One of the biggest reasons is if your evaluation as a realtor is off from the seller by more than $50,000, you could lose the listing. And we are not, like, we're realtors, we can use comps, we can do the best we can, but the market will determine the house's value. If the house is worth 500 because of all the comparable sales, but there's one unique characteristics about the house that a buyer's gonna go freaking apeshit for and go 100 grand over asking, you don't wanna lose that listing because the comps are telling you it's worth 500 and the seller wants 600. You know, when you could tell the seller, hey, we'll list it for 550 with the target of getting over 6. That's where knowing the product comes in, which we're gonna dive into later. How did you find me? That's a big one. When you start to get referral business, sure, then make sure you ask that, but if you're cold calling, don't ask that. Is there anything that we haven't covered that you'd like to discuss towards the end of the listing? Because there's sometimes, like I'm dealing one right now, it's an estate. I didn't know it was an estate. It's an estate, there's 3 people selling it. Those 2 questions, is there anyone else involved in the decision? And is there anything that we haven't covered that you'd like to discuss? And at the end, they asked me, like, what is this process if the house is under my name and the person died? The deed and all that stuff. That's why you have to have a good team, which we'll talk about later too. A big one for me is, I understand you're talking to other agents. What are you looking for in an agent? That's a huge one. That one you ask head on, because you can basically figure out if you're gonna get the listing then and there. Some people go on listing appointments and I'm like the 5th person they interviewed. I just got a $3.2 million listing in Colster. I was the last realtor. He said my energy was correct. I was very positive, and he liked my marketing. That's why it's very important you guys spend a lot of money on marketing. Even if you do one good marketing video, you pay a premium for it. You use that video as an example. What are some of your favorite things about living in this house? This is a nonchalant question, just like the other one. Anyone else involved in the sale that you guys have to figure out how to do with ease. It can't be obvious during the listing appointment. This one I wrote because it's important, because it actually killed a few deals for me. Are there any light fixtures, appliances, and window treatments you're planning to take with you? I wouldn't ask that in the initial appointment. I would ask that once the property is secured. Listing appointments, $800,000 or less, you can probably hammer them down in one appointment, like secure the listing. But anything over that, $1 million plus, sometimes you need to meet with that seller twice. I'm gonna go over like those special listing appointments, I call them. Like I just got a $2.1 million listing in Upper Saddle River. I first went there with my CMA and my information and everything, and then they wanted to meet with me again. Educated people who are choosing their realtor, they might want to meet for a second time. I've noticed that. The second time I brought a $600 bottle of wine to show them how invested I was in the relationship. Because it's a relationship at the end of the day, right? But that's a good one. I had a seller take a $40,000 chandelier from a house in Chatham Township. It almost killed the deal. They took that in the chairs in the movie theater. It literally almost killed the deal. Before the appointment, obviously you want a quick call to confirm the appointment, right? That happens with us where like we'll book the appointment and then seller's like nuts and they don't even remember the appointment. So you don't want to drive there, do all this work because it's a lot of work. Sometimes I like bring a pizza or cookies. Like if you're selling a house in Caldwell, you're going on a listing appointment in Caldwell, bring them a plain pie from Tony D's. It shows that you know the area, there's a pizzeria in the area, and you're bringing them, you're giving something. Whether it's a $5 gift card, our listing appointment presentations come with a $5 gift card, or a plain pizza. We're like, oh, this guy brought us a pizza, what the hell? The 10 other realtors didn't bring us anything. Your CMA is super important. Never show up empty-handed. For the first 7 years of my career, I probably showed up to every listing appointment empty-handed because I was very cocky and arrogant. And I probably got like 70% of those listing appointments. However, those 30%, I think would have helped me grow my business even more if I was prepared with a CMA. And when you have your CMA, you guys need your listing presentation, which you guys should have custom to you as realtors. I don't care what you sold, make it up. Use my sales as backup. $400 million in sales as a team, office team, even though you guys are independent realtors. $400 million in sales and counting. This is what I've sold. This is me. This is how long I've been in the business. This is why I'm a realtor. This should be across the board, by the way. Your Google profile, your Zillow, your Realtor.com. It should all be uniform. And it should all be hammered down in the listing presentation about who you are. Who are you? If you're going to a stranger's house, think about that. You've never been in this person's house before. They don't know you. You know, we're Egyptian. Would never show up empty-handed to a stranger's house. It's crazy. I just won't go. I one time forgot a bottle of wine and I didn't go. Not on a listing appointment, to my friend's house. So you want to confirm the appointment, whether a text or a phone call. You want to make sure you're prepared with your CMA. And can anyone name the biggest one?
Comps.
Yes. What are comps?
Comparables.
Give me more detail.
Apples to apples.
Other houses that sold.
We're still in the last 6 months.
Perfect. So other homes that sold in the last 6 months is definitely a good criteria. If you can't find anything in the last 6 months, you go out 12 months. Memorize the square footage, the lot size, the year built of all those comps. Memorize them. I don't care. You have to know them. I've gotten listings because I've known the comps. Because it's going to bring you back to that first question where what price did you have in mind? If you can squeeze what the seller has in their mind out of them, it's going to help you tenfold. Because that information combined with the comparable sales, you're going to give like a guesstimate as the value while you're there. You're not going to give an exact because there are things that you're going to do after the listing appointment.
When you make the appointment, the initial appointment, do you send them like, Joe's gonna go to your house Friday at 2:00? Do you send that person a text message or an email or something saying, see you Friday at 6:00 there initially, or do you just wait to follow up the day of?
Great question. I guide Ari to create a group chat, and that group chat is gonna say, hey, it's Ari and Joe. We look forward to seeing you at 12 Lilac in Upper Saddle River on Tuesday at 12:00. Please send me your full name and your email address. Why does that text work so well? Why is it so good? Because at the very end, there's something called a call to action. And that call to action means that they have to respond to you. You're giving them a task. If you get ignored for that, it's a red flag for me. Which is why before the appointment, you have to confirm the appointment. Especially if they didn't get a response to that text message. Because are they really involved? Do they really want you to come? Or are you just going there to waste your time? Although I always tell you guys, it's never a waste of time to get in front of many people as you can. If you meet somebody and they don't want to sell and they're like a total ass and they treat you like garbage, it's practice. It's still practice for you guys. It's free, real world practice.
What are you doing for, like you say you're breaking comps and you're studying all this house, but before getting into a house, it's hard to know what really is the best comp.
Correct, yeah.
You can look at it, Google it, trying to see if there's history, but how are you really picking which comps you're going to utilize from that initial appointment?
Great question. You're gonna base your comps off of what you know. What do we know? This house is 0.87 acres, almost 1 acre. In the town, to build a new construction, you need 1 acre. So this doesn't meet that requirement. So you're ruling out the fact that this is gonna get sold to a builder. Also, the property seems like it's in good condition. It was sold 4 years ago. And these are the photos, and it looks great. And this is the square footage. And this is the year built. It was built in 1980. So you're gonna do the best you can with the information that you have. And you're gonna make it very clear to the sellers, hey, this number is preliminary. Now that I've seen your house, I'm going to go back to the lab and I'm gonna come up with a number that you're gonna be very happy with, that I can stand behind. My name is Joseph. I under-promise and over-deliver. That's what I'm good at. If I can get you an extra 200 grand, you're gonna be happy with me. I'm gonna dive into what to do after the listing appointment, okay?
The question also about the comms. Let's say you pulled up whatever information you found online, right? But then you don't know that maybe the seller did some renovation. Instead of a 3-bedroom now, he had an open concept and now it's a 2-bedroom. So all your comms now are not comparables.
Perfect. That's a great question. I'm glad you asked that because that actually has happened to me in the past. That is an issue because most sellers say, "Oh, I'm not changing the square footage of my house." But if you talk to any appraiser, bedroom count and bathroom count is one of the most important things on the list. So it's better to address that issue head on at the appointment. But a caveat to that is you have to be very careful because throughout the listing appointment, when I told you guys, positive energy. I lost a listing appointment, easy sale. Ridgefield Park, in-ground pool, $650, renovated. I lost it because the garage was like this. It was literally like this. And I said, your garage is leaning. We're gonna have to disclose that it's not structurally sound, but I'm gonna sell it as is. And I said one bad thing about the house, one bad thing. And they didn't even call me back. They went with another realtor, but I had the listing. They agreed to sell it with me. It sucks. It's an easy sale.
I'm just thinking, like, you have like a typical colonial 4-bedroom, 2.5 bathroom. You can't always find square gold. I just don't know what I would bring on that initial one. That was so considered as savvy.
So then just, again, same thing, address the issue head on. Hey, I didn't bring any comps with me. I just brought my listing presentation because there's no square footage of this house. So what I'm gonna do as a courtesy for you as a seller is I'm gonna pay to have the floor plans done. So I'm gonna have a copy of the floor plans for your house. So this way we know the exact square footage so that I can price it correctly. Damn, that's good. I just came up with that on the fly. Fucking good, dude. Okay, so you got your CMA prep. You want to confirm the appointment before the appointment. What you're bringing to the appointment is your listing presentation, your recent comparable sales, a pen, and a business card. Very basic, but have a pen and a business card. When I was writing this, I wanted to tell you guys not to bring a contract, like a listing agreement. I talked to some of the best agents. I'm friends with some of the best realtors. 50% of them bring a contract of sale, for the listing, the NJMLS, the Guardian MLS, they bring it with them. I don't. I don't think you should, but I'll leave that up to you guys.
Why don't you recommend it?
Because people get weird with contracts. You guys ever been working with a new buyer and they're putting their first offer in and you send them the e-signature and they just don't fucking sign it for like 24 hours? And you're like, wait, what happened? Where'd you go? We don't have any time. They're like, oh, it's a contract. I'm reviewing it with my attorney. People get weird with contracts. So like, why put a wall up between us with a contract when we could worry about that later? It's 2025, almost.
What about sales disclosures?
Seller's disclosure is something I send later. There's no need to like vomit information on the first appointment. The first appointment,
Or is it for like valuing property, like knowing, what things might.
you can basically do a virtual seller's disclosure in your head on the listing appointment. Like I said, when you're going on this listing appointment, I gotta hammer this in. You're there for an information vacuum. If there was a leak in the roof in 2016, they're gonna tell you, you're gonna take that, you're gonna put it right here. You're gonna talk about the leak in the roof for 45 minutes and then fill out paperwork about it. It's crazy. You're there to build value. Bring a pizza. What to send the seller after the appointment? Say the appointment goes well, right? Appointment goes crazy. Harry, what do you send the seller after a good listing appointment?
Before it's listed every year.
Okay.
This is you. Okay, so you send that after they agreed to list it with you? After they agreed to the price and everything?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else? What about a seller who hasn't decided and it's been about 5 days? Then what? Send them a text, right? That's what we all do. But we're here to elevate your business, right? What does your text say?
I was kidding. But yes, but no.
Hey, you up? Like, babe? Where you at? Most realtors, this is set up. I'm outside.
You're
Thank you for the time. Thank you for meeting me today.
Beautiful. But what else? Like what after? It's 4 days since the listing appointment. It went well, but you haven't heard from the seller at all. No communication.
Share that situation right now.
Okay.
I left him a voicemail yesterday.
Uh-huh.
He didn't respond.
Okay. So what are you gonna do different?
I want to be too pushy, so I'll swing out, you know.
No. You invited for the top tea? Okay, not a bad idea. But no. What else? What are you gonna do?
What's the hesitation? Like, it's a matter of finding out, like, hey, is there anything else I could help you get this on the phone? Ask them, follow up. Like, hey,
Is that why you say like, hey, you might be interviewing other agents, and I just wanted to. Is that where you pull that card, or then?
That's it.
That sounds weak.
Saying that you care less. It sounds weird. Anything to see? Talk to other realtors? I talk to any other realtors. Good idea.
what you do? Speed.
Send me a pizza.
What are you doing? You're setting pizza. Say
I'm gonna use.
For the pizza and they just.
Okay, so I one time got a listing because I knew the seller wasn't ready for. Honestly, I advised them to wait like 3 months. It was like March, and they asked me at the listing appointment, what's the best time to sell? I'm like May, June, July, August, September, but preferably before September. That's the best time to sell. It's the best time to take pictures, best time to take video, best time to market the house. People are home shopping. So I advised them to wait 2 months. And I sold that house. And it was a big house. And before I walked into the house, I did a few things differently with the house, because when you're going on listing appointments, everything's situational, right? Every seller is situational. Every seller's situation is situational. Before I walked into that house, I had my laptop in the car. I get there early, and I sent him a PDF of what I brought into the house, my CMA, all that, and I hit send on the email as I got out of my car. And I said to them, hey, I just sent you everything, but here's a hard copy as well. If it's an appointment where it's like I said, like 800,000 plus listing, I like to send something. I like to send a bottle of wine. I like to send flowers. Like I have a listing right now. I haven't secured it, but I'm trying really hard to secure it. When I went on the initial appointment, I didn't think it was real. I went on the appointment, it was real. These higher price points, the people are crazy. And it's gonna be like a $9 million listing. And the guy showed up and I'm like, oh my God, this is fucking real. The house is crazy and this is amazing. And I was like, fuck, I didn't bring anything. He told me to show up. It wasn't even a confirmed appointment. He's like, you gotta be here at 10. I don't know, just go. I'm like, all right, okay. So I showed up and this guy literally came out of the woods in the back. He's wearing like sweatpants. He's like, yeah, I'm the builder. I'm building this house. Nice to meet you. I'm like, show me around. I went into my spiel. I was taken aback. But because I didn't bring anything, I stopped by the next day unannounced with the stuff and a bottle of wine, a $600 bottle of wine. It's my thing. I have this Abacus, the great wine. It's hard to get. Wine people know it immediately. So I gave him the bottle of wine and I gave him the stuff. And he's like, the house is, it's gonna get listed in April 1st, no matter who he hires, because he has a contract with Aspire magazine. It's a luxury magazine. He has to list April 1st, and he has to complete the house March 1st, because all of March they use the house for photo shoots and fashion shoots, and like California Closets is doing all the closets for free. Like kitchen is $500,000 kitchen. Like they're just all of March is photos and events, and then April 1st it goes live. Hopefully I'm the agent. So I knew it wasn't there yet, so I had time to build value. So the second day I showed up unannounced. I knew he would be there because it's a construction site. He's there taking deliveries, he's doing this. So I showed up with my CMA, everything, and a bottle of wine. And I said, hey, just so you know, I hired an appraiser because this is such a unique property. I'm paying for an appraiser $1,500 to come do the appraisal. And he's going to stop by next week if that's okay. He was like, whoa. You're like the 8th agent. Not one agent has spent any money doing this. So the next week, I met the appraiser there. I confirmed with the owner. He's like, yeah, go ahead. Go walk in, do what you need to do. Walked around with the appraiser, and I also brought a videographer, and we did a drone shot of the overhead of the house. And I sent it to him, and I said, look how beautiful the overhead view is. I'll have the appraisal in a week. You want to take your game to the next level? You want to really stand out? Has anyone ever done that? Anyone in this room, have you ever done that? No? Yeah. This training is made to elevate your game. Why are you different? Why should they hire you? I don't care if you sold one house. If you have all of this down packed and you're confident, you guys will get the listing.
What if you're like an agent who is like a young professional or still at school, doesn't have the funds to spend $600, figure it out wine, or what if you can't figure it out?
Figure it out. What do you mean you can't figure it out? Don't have the money.
Karen.
Every Instagram reel I watch,
Buy $600 wine.
What if you don't have the monetary?
I'm not. Listen,
So how do you do that?
No, it's supposed to be.
it doesn't. Okay. Let's bring it back to reality.
There's levels.
It doesn't have to be a $600 bottle of wine. It could be a $50 bottle of wine. It doesn't have to be a drone video. You could buy a drone and do your own drone video. You could do a reel. You could.
What is it? Right. She's.
Everybody drinks.
He wasn't doing
It's the effort, though.
That.
doing this whole.
Yes. Thank you. You guys hear what he said? It's the effort. The guy for the $9 million listing doesn't drink.
I was gonna ask that too because we have to be careful when we give wine.
It always works. Because if he doesn't drink, then the wife drinks. And guess what? The wife drinks. And he actually texted me saying, hey, my wife loves this wine. She just wanted to make sure I said thank you.
Give us the answer. If someone is boasting for days, what would you do?
Thank you for bringing it back. My wife's trying to embarrass me at my own training. Don't forget that. I always said if a girl's ghosting you after 4 days, what do you do? Just keep saying hey. Okay, so if somebody's ghosting you after 4 days, I like to send I did a video, like a really nice reel in Upper Saddle River on one of my listings. And that reel was, I guess it's specific to the property. I was trying to get another listing in Upper Saddle River, and I used my Upper Saddle River reel and I sent it to the client. And I gave them a call and I said, hey, I just sent you a listing video that I did. Let me know your thoughts. And I left them a voicemail and I sent them a text too. Follow up. It's all timing. It's all about timing. It's all about timing. Somebody might not be ready now, but they'll be ready 4 months from now. You just gotta be like in their face. I did, yeah. They liked it. Like they just liked it. They didn't tell me they liked it. They just liked it. But I know they're alive. That's good enough for me. Give me something, They liked it.
Acknowledgement.
Because that means they watched it.
Yeah.
It's acknowledgement.
Then what? That's so long to you.
You follow up till you die, Alex. You follow up till you die, or they die. And if they listen with somebody else, then you burn the house down. What makes you stand out?
What you say.
What you say? Okay, let's get granular, all right?
I think
A lot of all that. We already went over that. What makes you stand out besides everything that we just went over?
First is writing when they first see you.
Sure, but during the process,
Your knowledge.
your knowledge, yes, but
You may yes, sir.
good listener, I'm going to use that to segue. It's funny because if you tell a seller that what your game plan is, I'm going to call this game plan. If you tell the seller what the game plan is and you promise them communication, I can assure you guys it's yours. I will be at every single open house. If there's a private showing, I will call you guys after the showing. I will call you guys after every open house. I will call you guys if there's no activity for a week. I will call, and I will keep you updated and follow up with you. You will never be in the dark about what's going on with this listing. However, my goal is to sell it within a week. So most people right now are in a unique situation. It's called golden handcuffs, right? What does that mean?
they got a 2% rate.
Correct. They bought during COVID. They have a low interest rate. They have a ton of equity in their house, but they're handcuffed to their house because if they sell it, yeah, they'll do very well. They'll make 250 grand. But then they're going to pay 250 grand more for a little bit of a bigger house and a way higher interest rate, more than double. How do you handle that situation? You have to assess. Does it make sense to move? I went on a listing appointment in Clifton. Sometimes it doesn't make sense to move. The lady had 2 kids. It was a 2-family house. There was a huge attic finished beautifully, and she lived there with her 2 kids. She was collecting $1,800 and $2,000, and she had a 2.5% interest rate. She bought the house for like $415. I told her, don't you dare sell this house. I'm like, where are you gonna move? Where are you gonna go? I was like, you're living mortgage free and very comfortably. She actually left me a review on Google because she said I was one of the only realtors that told her to keep it. Sell it. I would have loved to sell that. Clifton 2-family, it's just sell for $700. She paid $415.
Super taboo. It's a legalization where you have to. I'm just saying, no.
I mean, unless she gets addicted to fentanyl, there's nothing. There's no selling that house, man. She's a. Fentanyl's a big problem right now. Oh, so the question, just so you guys know, is, hey, I'm buying and selling. What's the process? That's scary. You have 2 kids. You have a house. You're running out of space. You need to sell the house. Can I trust you to sell this house and secure another house for me at the same time? How do you radiate that confidence, Andrews?
I do this for all my clients. This is something that's not new. That's my specialty. Relocation, depending, and
But John, I don't want to be homeless.
you won't be. We'll time it perfectly, and we'll make sure that
What if my house doesn't sell?
it will. That's a beautiful home.
Where you price that? The comps show that it's worth $550, and I think I can get you even more than that. But I wanna,
But I need to clear $100,000 to buy another house. Does the work end?
People with the golden handcuffs have at least 100,000.
Yeah, so I led you to a dead end because I want to make a huge point. It's situational. Sometimes it's not going to make sense to sell. Sometimes they have to sell. You just have to make sure that you know what you're doing. If it's a buy-sell situation, listen, I see it all the time. I get buyers. They're like, yeah, I sold my house 8 months ago. I'm like, what? And you're buying already? They're like, yeah, the realtor said we'll just list our house and we'll figure it out. I'll rent an apartment. But now they don't have, that realtor obviously fucked up. They did the wrong thing for their client and they don't have the buyer anymore. And they also don't have the word of mouth walking around telling everybody about how great the realtor is. So it's huge.
Do you ever say, let's test the market? Like, let's say the seller wants a number and you don't think the house is worth that much, or it'll sell that much. But it's possible, but as you said, some buyers will praise their offer 150 over asking. So do you ever say, all right, let's test the market and see what we get?
It's a good question for many reasons. I'll give you an example right now. I'm dealing with it right now. I have a 2-family listing in Morristown. It's a 2-bedroom, 1 bath, over 2-bedroom, 1 bath, and delivered vacant. Delivered vacant multifamily in Morristown is very unique. It's worth $650. He paid $615. He's like, I'm not selling it unless I get $750. So I said, all right, let's list it for $850. It's a unique situation. This is when rates went down for a little bit. They went down to like 5.7 that week. So I listed it and then rates went back up to 6.5. So I actually didn't get anything. I didn't get any offers. But I reduced the price. I relisted it for $750. And it's under contract now for $760, by the way. It's closing next week. But if I had told them what it was really worth, I wouldn't have gotten that listing. So like every listing appointment that you go on is very...
In like, you said it was worth $650.
Yes.
You got it in the country for $760.
Mm-hmm.
That person laid the appraisal.
Calf. Somebody doing a 1031 exchange. Unique. Lucky. Very lucky. But that's not to say that won't happen. So how do you, as a realtor, go on a listing appointment and explain that unique situation to a seller? How do you gauge that? You just have to know the market, the area, timing, and you have to be very patient. Everybody that called me saying, hey, what the hell's going on? Listed for $850, withdrawn, relisted for $800, 2 open houses. I represent the seller. Bold face. I'm not gonna say, yeah, it's worth $650, but yeah, he wanted to. You ever see those listing agents? 36 days on the market, they're just like tired of the listing. Yeah, man, the seller wanted to list it high, so whatever. That buyer's agent's gonna come in low. But I said, listen, he wants what he wants. Why don't you show it and bring me an offer?
But what if the seller wants you to say the number first, how much it's worth?
Before he tells you that he wants 750, and so you think it's worth 650. And he asks you, how much is my household? How much?
I told that seller,
So what's the mistake of saying 650?
like
Kind of knew him though.
I did know him, yeah. So I told him $750, but it's only because I knew him. but then he told me he wanted 850. You know, what makes a good realtor is not like doing a contract of sale or lead paint or knowing the rules or even knowing the comps. Anybody can do that. What makes a good agent is somebody who can get really, really granular and read the room, read the situation, read the seller, figure out what they want, what they need with just a simple conversation. I always say, like, I go out in the general public and I'm just like looking around and I just feel so out of place because real estate has taught me so much about people and life. So like, it's a little uncomfortable to have so much knowledge about so much and live like an everyday world. That's why beginning of this year, I said to myself, like, I gotta up my price point. You guys gotta figure out in this business, for the realtors that aren't here, is being part of a brokerage that's gonna help you level up, gonna change your career. And then once you're here, how do you continue to level up? Because you're supposed to level up every single year, right? Some of us have been realtors for a long time. If you keep doing the same shit every year, I walked into Verizon the other day. My friend still works there. I used to work with him at Verizon 10 years ago. Still there. And I remember we had a conversation about him getting his license 7 years ago because he's a great sales rep. He's just scared to level up. You guys as realtors have to do the same. And the way you do that is cold calling and listing appointments. It's the best way to do it because it leads to sales and experiences. To answer your question, long form, how do you radiate to a seller that you'll never put them in that situation? Ask me. You're a homeowner. You want to sell your house and you want to buy another house. Ask me. What are your biggest concerns?
I don't want to be homeless. I tried with someone before and I didn't like what they told me. And I actually had a family member who sold and now they're renting and they got a U-Haul storage and it's just a whole mess of a situation. And I spoke with 2 realtors last week. You're the 3rd. I have 2 more coming next week because I have a young kid. I want to keep that in mind too. I don't want to have my child moving all over the place. Like, it's so confusing. I want stress-free experience. And that's why I'm trying to invest so much time in picking the right person.
Well, I can definitely appreciate you taking your time and choosing a realtor. I can assure you that that will never happen with me. If there's ever a situation where we don't sell your house, I'm completely okay with it. I will spend whatever money it takes to make sure you get top dollar. And if you don't, you can cancel. You'll never be in a situation where you and your family are homeless. But I assure you that I'm gonna get you top dollar for your house, all while securing another house for you for a good price that's gonna appreciate in value. You will never make a lateral move with me. You're only gonna make a better move. How do I convince you to cancel your appointment with the other realtors?
I don't know. Then me $600 all the way.
Would you ever say to your seller that the sale of their home is going to be contingent on them finding a new home and purchasing? So then, to me, it builds a lot more ease and comfort.
Yeah.
Because then going back to what you were saying, they know that they won't be homeless.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm gonna answer that question 2 different ways. I'm gonna answer it as a listing agent. I'm representing you, and I'm gonna answer that as a buyer's agent, bringing in an offer on a property like that, right? Okay, so the first way, I represent you, right? I'm gonna know what you're looking for when we sell your house, to buy the house that you wanna buy. I'm gonna know what you wanna buy. I'm gonna know you're pre-approved already. I'm gonna know your budget. I'm gonna know exactly how much you're comfortable spending, how much you're gonna walk away with, because we have the seller net sheet. I'm gonna know exactly what your walk-away costs are towards the new house, for the new house, right? I'm gonna have all that information. And with all that information, I'm gonna make an educated guess as to how quickly and confidently I can secure another house for you. If you're looking for a brand new construction for $1 million in Bergen County, good luck, it's not happening. But if you have realistic expectations with both the home sale and the home purchase, then I'm completely confident. But we can put a 90-day contingency on closing, and we can also do something called rent back, use and occupancy, another 60 days. Ideally, if you can't buy a house in 5 months, then you're not a serious buyer. Those are all details that you hash out. Once you build value and they agree to use you, those details that you hash out will tie them closer to you guys. I can't use anybody else. I don't trust anybody else. After everything Joe has gone through with me, I don't even think another realtor even knows this stuff. Joe's my guy. I have to buy a house with Joe, and I have to sell my house with Joe. I've gotten so good at it where I've met buyers that meet me, that want to work with me, that already chose a family member to sell their house. And I say, I cannot help you because the selling and buying process simultaneously is an orchestra. And I can't play with a realtor that I don't know. And you guys shouldn't take that risk. And I've gotten the listing and the buy and the referral. Now, to answer the question the opposite way, as a realtor bringing a buyer to a listing like that, I'm going to drill Magdi. What are the sellers looking for? They want a buy level? What's their budget? Are they pre-approved? Are they going to walk away with enough money? What's the cap? I'm not putting my clients under contract on your listing unless you put a 60-day cap. After 60 days, we go under contract no matter what. Closing in 45 from there. More than enough time, Magdi. What do you think?
Is the agent what their client was looking for?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Because that agent's going to say, oh shit, this is the first realtor that actually wants to delve into the information and knows what they're doing. You guys have qualified buyers. A buyer meets you, you get them pre-approved, you go through the motions, you go through payment, you show them homes, you teach them basically about real estate 101. You go through all those motions. That buyer is your property. You earned it. There's a real estate team, I'm not going to say their name, but whenever they submit an offer, they put 4% commission now for the buyer's agent themselves. Sometimes I don't fight them on it because I know they're bringing me a qualified buyer and I have a headache-free transaction and we're comfortably going to shop. That's right, with these new NAR rules, some realtors are making double what they were making before. This is where real estate gets really granular. This is how you guys level up your business. We're not just bullshit realtors doing deals here and there. You guys got to get really fucking good. Because if you guys are good at this game, it'll elevate everything else you want to do. Investing, whatever. Does anybody have any questions on listing appointment? This is your chance.
I have a question.
Sure.
Would you compliment them property?
Yeah, that's part of positive energy.
And then you go in and give them all these compliments. They think it's 600,000. Then you hit them with the numbers. And they're like, we don't want to work with you because our property is amazing.
There has to be a realness throughout the entire appointment. The general public will smell bullshit. Some will tell you that they smell it, some won't. Those are the people that ghost you. But if you're straightforward and honest the entire time, and you're just going there with information and knowledge and experience, no bullshit. I don't show up with bullshit. If I like the marble, I'm going to tell you I like the marble. If I hate the color that you chose on the floor, I'm not going to tell you. If there's a hole in the roof, I'm going to make a joke about it. I literally walked on a listing appointment and there was a hole in the roof with a tarp. And I said, hey, I love what you've done with the ceiling. And the seller goes, no. It's being repaired. But like, no bullshit. Straightforward knowledge, experience, information. You go there and you give. You don't take anything. I've seen people go on listing appointments and they're like, oh my God, I love your entry. When I was entry, the door opens and it hits the stairs. So, what are you doing? Why are you lying?
For buy and sell, you're gonna be helping them with both. Are you going to tell them to? Are you gonna take them out shopping first before you list?
Great. I one time had the most anal seller. And that seller, they bought the house and I think it was like 1997. And it was worth like triple what they paid for it. But they wanted like 5 times more than what they paid for it. The guy we like hit it off. He was into cars, watches, we were cool. So I said, listen, how about this? What are you doing next Wednesday? Like, I can be free? I'm like, perfect. We're gonna go look at these 3 homes that I brought in the comps. Because I bring active comps too. Active and sold already. We're gonna go to these 3 homes. Let's hop in, I'm gonna pick you up, we'll grab coffee, and we'll look as if you're buying these homes. I'm gonna pretend like you're my buyer, and we're gonna go on these appointments together. So you see what a buyer sees when comparing your house. It was the best thing I did. That guy still refers me business to this day. When you get a buyer, when you guys get buyers, you guys spend a lot of time with them, right? And some of them never buy. Sellers are buyers, but guaranteed to sell. But at what price? We spend a lot of time with buyers. Why don't you spend the same amount of time with sellers? Show up with a gift, pizza, ball, whatever. Know the market, know the comps. Offer to tie them in. At one of my $2.1 million listings, I met a buyer, and that buyer said, yeah, when they first walked in, we have a realtor, we're good, we're just gonna look around. I said, no problem, take your time. Feel free to record video, just so you know the house is 2,100 blah, blah, square foot. I gave them a brief synopsis of the information of the house, because I know they didn't want to be bothered. And I said, you guys walk around, you take your time. And another buyer came in, way more friendly, right? And I start talking about another listing I'm getting, loud, so that other couple hears it. And I start talking, oh my God, this thing is amazing. It's being built, blah, blah. And at the end, that couple who was very standoffish that said they had a realtor, they came up to me at the end. They're like, hey, you were talking about another property. I'm like, listen, I can't disclose just yet, but I'll tell you what, I'll create a group chat for us and I'll just be your resource for real estate. And when that listing is sheetrocked, I'll walk you guys through it. I don't care. And they were like, really? I'm like, yeah, you guys are going to love it. I'll walk you through it. You guys can ask me questions. I specialize in new construction. I do a lot in the area. I'm very well versed. I would love to earn your business. Let's get a group chat going. We'll go from there. And they sent me a long text saying, we really love meeting you. We look forward to seeing the house and maybe working with you in the future. This was 2 weeks ago.
They probably didn't even have a road. They buy one.
100%, it could be. But, or even worse, they could have a realtor who spent some time but didn't do all the right things. Didn't build enough value. Yeah. Didn't go with them to the open house, sure. Well, we can't knock realtors for doing that because we all do that. But if I had a $2 million buyer, that's a whole nother thing. I don't want to get into a buyer's consult. It's a different training. But yeah, so something like that is great.
Okay, wait. So I guess maybe I need to be more specific on my question was, when you're going to help somebody sell their house and they also need to buy a house, will you advise them to go search for a house to purchase first before putting their house on the market? Or are you putting their house on the market and also location at the same time? I know it depends on the house and where you price it and everything, but like in the perfect scenario, they're going to price it right. They have realistic expectations and on their budget for their purchase. But the market's still crazy. They could lose.
Yeah, you have to find a way to secure it. What I like to do is, this is just one thing. You have to be careful with this too. But if your client owns a house, they paid $500,000 for it and it's worth $900,000 and they owe $400,000 on it, right? Their mortgage is $3,000. If they can rent that house for $6,000, right? Technically, it's not contingent. And if the seller of that house agrees to list it for $750,000, and you know if you list it for $750,000 and you market it correctly, and there's going to be 2 open houses, and you do everything the right way, and you're going to get 15 offers on the house within a week, technically, you can say it's not contingent. Because if it doesn't sell, they're just going to rent it out. It's your job to protect your client, but also secure a listing. I did it in the past where I said to a listing agent, hey, they have a buy level in Paramus. We're listing it for $750,000. Almost every single time that listing agent says, I have a buyer for that. That's why I said it's situational. Real estate can get really granular.
Why does the rental value matter?
Because, good question. So, all right, so say I'm a seller, I'm selling my house, and my mortgage is $3,000. If I can rent it for $6,000, the bank is going to take 75% of that income and use it to pay off that mortgage, and it'll be a wash, making it not contingent on that sale.
What's like what is the bank's rules on that? It has to be like, this is a $3,000, $6,000. It has to be that 50% above, or would a $3,000 mortgage rented?
I'll give you an example. I have a 3-family house in Maplewood right now. It's listed, and it's listed high, $950,000, right? They're like, okay, we want to sell and buy at the same time. The house is paid off, the 3-family. And they said, okay, we want a house in Colts Neck. Colts Neck is a very hard market, you know? And they want a house under $1 million. So I said, okay, let's do this. Let's prepare your house to get it ready to list. Photos, floor plans, I did my video. I had everything ready to go in a file with the description, everything done. Basically, click of a button, the house is live everywhere, right? I got a copy of the leases. There was a solar panel. I got the solar panel agreement. I had everything ready to go. I knew everything about the house. I thought I was gonna sell for 950. A week later, I found him a house in Colts Neck for like 900,000. Bi-level, needs rip up the carpet, new windows, kitchens, baths. It's worth 1.2 all day. And it needed a septic. I had a connection with a septic company, brought them on the first showing, got the house for 860 with $20,000 back towards closing costs, right? But I have to sell this house in Maplewood. That's their down payment. So I said, how do I do this? And I got them qualified for a bridge loan. The rent was $1,700, $2,000, and market rent for the first floor was $2,500. So I said, why don't you guys apply for a bridge loan in case we don't sell Maplewood and you have to buy it cash? They said, beautiful. Cash, well, I put the offer in as a mortgage, 25% down. I said, you guys have 20 grand in the bank? They said, yeah, for the deposit. I put 20 grand deposit. I got the house and I made it non-contingent. I didn't disclose the 3-family because technically the rents cover that and it's a wash on paper, but it's also qualified to buy the property cash using a bridge loan from that mortgage. So the house ended up not selling. The game plan was, and keep in mind, this is where game plan comes in. Another reason they hired me because I had multiple game plans for them, and it put them at ease completely. This is where knowing like not just comps, but knowing mortgages, knowing
Even if I don't retain all of that stuff.
it's just over the years. You just know. Hold on. Let me just answer this. What's a bridge? So when you go under the bridge, you meet a guy. So he gets him pen. Oh, he said, get this man the mic. So basically, I listed it for 950, sat on the market, tons of showings. I'm like, fuck. We went under contract. We did the inspection. We did the appraisal. I was like, let's also try to get a conventional mortgage. They got approved for a conventional mortgage with 50% down. So now I created another game plan since our 2 game plans weren't working. Well, the last one would have worked, but that was their last case scenario. They didn't want to take a bridge loan. It's like 10%. Yeah, it's high. We got to a point where I was going to take the 3-family off the market. And I said, let me try one more thing. Let's reduce the price to $925, right? Second I reduced the price, I got 4 more showings. I took the house, put it in attorney review, showed that it was an attorney review, gave it to the guy doing the bridge loan, because the bridge loan is really kind of like a hard money almost, depending on who you go through. And I said, here, we got to offer $925. It's closing in 45 days, but this house needs to close in a week. They did the bridge loan. They're closing next week, and then Maplewood is going to close in 45 days.
And how many?
They're buying that house cash. And then once Maplewood closes, they're going to pay off that bridge loan. And the crazy part is, to buy time, I requested a $30,000 credit because we did the home inspection and the garage slab was cracked. And I said, you know what? We got time. We got time to kill. They're getting qualified for this bridge loan. Fuck it. Requested a $30,000 credit. We fucking got it.
No figures they got down to like.
We got it. So they got a $20,000 credit towards closing costs and a $30K price reduction. They're basically getting that house for $810. It's 3,000 square feet in Colts Neck on like an acre and a half. And behind it, it's cornfields. Sick. That's what I mean by granular and situational. But when I said at the beginning of this training, game plan, a lot of people aren't confident. They want to make a move, but there's information that they just don't know.
That's what I was going to say. I don't think a lot of times it's not confidence, it's educating yourself on so many different, whether you're that kind of the time though. You know what I mean? Like all of this stuff, you didn't just sit there and read a book where all this stuff, like these are things that you've gone through that you.
But if you build the
FBC, yeah, no,
so
absolutely.
if you build the team, like the bridge builder stuff and all that, like Justin taught me all that. Like he knew all that.
I feel like you bring in this and then
He explained all that to my clients. It was my idea.
Yeah.
But he explained it to my client.
What's the difference between like a bridge loan and hard money loan? Like what?
Bridge loan is done when you own an asset already that you could leverage.
Okay, so like an equity loan and a credit kind of thing?
It's kind of like an equity line. You are. Yeah.
But you never get that much, are you?
HELOC, you usually get like this. There's banks that do 90%.
Oh yeah.
Like of the value. Some banks do like 70. But bridge loans are good if they had a lot of equity in the house. Especially since I'm proving it's selling for $925. It's worth $925. I don't care what you say, bank. This is a cash offer. Your job is to get the max for every seller. This is the first day of showings. I couldn't get in because of the tenant. So once you see it, you definitely have to act quick. It's easy to say that in a training, but in real world where you have a buyer and the buyer wants the property and you tend to make 2% commission, you're going to sell it. Unless you're really as good as you say.
Unless that's the water.
I would love to do a deal with you. I got dog jaw all over it.
What's dog jaw?
You didn't know what dog jaw is? I can feel my jaw right here. Feel it right here. I got us.
Alright.
That mode.
That was great.
On that note, thanks for the setup. I did it to him. It scared the shit out. I mean, he fucking.
Earlier we were talking about if the listing appointment went well, but you haven't got any response for 4 days, and I said why don't you set another listing appointment, and you asked why. Why shouldn't you, or why?
Okay, so I'll be the seller, and you ask me for another appointment.
All right. Hi, I know.
Hey, nice to hear from you. Sorry, I've been super busy.
Yeah, I know the listing appointment went very well, and I would like to set another appointment. I know we haven't communicated. Can we see each other one more time?
Okay, well, why though?
We haven't, I just want to see face to face and see, I don't know. It was just the moment.
The first week went well, and I thought we were gonna, proceed.
But I told you I need like a month. You need another month. I'm not ready yet.
Keep it hold.
I need another month. Bullshit. You can't say that to a seller? Alright, what the hell? You called me, bro. You're the guy who brought me a pizza. At that point, it becomes follow-up. Follow-up, because it's timing. Yeah. They could be waiting for their kids to finish school. You know? They could be securing another job that doesn't start in 4 months. You will know. You will know.
What else would it look like? They were
Listen, you guys want to get granular. The appointments that we set, I make sure to tell him. What do I tell you, Ari? He's calling right now for me. This guy doesn't stop. Give him the mic for me, please. What's the one thing I say to you before we secure an appointment? What's the thing I harp on?
Email, or you ask me to confirm it again. I'm not sure.
Confirm it again, but also these appointments that you have to make sure that they actually want to sell.
Oh, they're vetted. Yeah,
They're vetted. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm not going on appointments where they're like, I'm at a point in my career. I can't sit here and tell you guys to do the same, but I'm at a point in my career where I won't go on an appointment if I don't get the vibe that they actually want me there. Like, I'm there to give you an evaluation and sell your house. Like, I can't keep going on these pizza parties, what's it? All right. So the appointments that I went on that are bullshit, and the appointments that I went on are serious. What would you say is the difference? Like, that's a great question. How do you know?
Well, for me, like I push them sometimes to get a yes. If I push a guy too hard, then, oh, I don't want to, but Joe's great. He brings pizza. Then I keep going. It's like, all right, you can come by. But we have a line of communication where I'm like, Joe, I think this might be a good one. Yeah, or it might be, it might not work. So obviously, if you I got a guy who bites right away, most of the time, that's a good appointment.
We did a cold call. We do cold call trainings every Thursday. Not December. Take December off. But every Thursday we do cold call training. And the last cold call training, I swear to God, the guy picked up the phone. I said, hey, my name is Joseph. I just sold this house in North Caldwell. I'm offering free home evaluations to everybody. What do you think? Do you want to know what your home is worth? And the guy's like, what kind of timing? And he didn't tell me why he said that. He's like, but listen, send me your card. I'm interested, just not right now. And in my head, that guy is like, just filed for divorce or something, where he might have to sell the house. And I'm going to follow up with that guy till I fucking die. And I may not get the appointment right now, but I will get that appointment and I will get that listing. But it's because I picked up the phone at the right time. Does that make sense? By chance, yeah. So it's timing. I always tell Ari, like sometimes he'll tell me, oh, I'll start at the top, but the next day I'll go start at the bottom of the list and work my way up. That's how timing works. It's so situational. You could take a list of 20 names, random as fuck, across Bergen, Hudson, Essex, and Passaic County. Pick 20 names, and you call that same list in January, and you'll get no fucking call or answer or appointment, nothing. And you call the same list in July, you might get 2 appointments and 1 listing. The same fucking list. So think about that and pick up the phone. Hopefully this training helps you guys once you do get your foot in the door.
You know, can I throw something in? Even though I'm not a broker, I think what you guys have to, I hate to say this, but emulate this guy on is like, you can, like his passion when he talks about, like if he was to walk into my house, he was looking at floors, windows. I think you guys have to emulate that passion. And I think if you're a seller sees that, I think you got a notch over other brokers.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I just got a listing appointment from a builder who disclosed that he's building 20 more homes, but he went with me because he's newer. He's a newer builder. That was his first build, and he's getting 20. He just got 20 lot subdivision approved, and I gave him a concrete guy, I gave him a framer, and I gave him a painter. Every appointment matters, guys. Every person you meet matters, because that one person will lead you to the next 40 people.
Any questions? I have a question. So after you explain all the parables, and you compliment the house, and you went over everything, and you're about to like say like, okay, so I win the listing, or that they say, wait, but Zillow, I see my house worth this much, or it's priced at this much. How you come back out of that? Because I went with Julio the other day on a listing appointment, and that was the second time I went to the listing appointment. And after we was done and everything, I was like, yeah, because I saw on Zillow the price was, I was like, bro, like I just spent like 2 days, explaining to you like why your house supposed to, why we should price at this point. And it come to me, I probably didn't get it. Like he probably didn't understand everything I say, or I didn't explain it the right way or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just like the question, like something took me out of breath. So, yeah.
How did you respond to that? Or you said that?
Oh, I so it's an ask like no question.
So, it was like, that, I was like, damn, mister. Yeah, I didn't get the list. I feel like it was more because of that.
Because of response. Yeah, thanks.
Because, like, I feel like when you're on a listening appointment, if you are weak on me, you lost out.
Yeah, what's it?
Yeah.
Screw up, I should not see it.
Respond to that.
So that boiled down to your confidence. I think you're a confident roper. So why did you use your confidence?
Like I said, he's a company old boss, because I explained everything already. And what he told me about, like, if he would have asked me at the beginning, I'd probably be like, and this is why you're not at the CMA, at the Broken Parables, so we can sit down and I want to make you understand. I want to, explain to you in a better way why we should price your house on this far. But he just, after I did everything, he asked me that question. I just was like,
Okay, so like FBI negotiations, right? They say the best negotiations are when each side feels like they won, right? So you need to do 2 things. Make sure the seller understands that Zillow is wrong. And Zillow does not compare to you, the best realtor in this fucking area. So you need to confidently do both of those things, but in a really nice way. So I would say, I completely understand, but Zillow is wrong. These are the comparable sales. Now, if there's a chance Zillow is right, I'm gonna sell it for more. But you have to trust my game plan, because it's proven over and over again.
Sometimes I go for it. I'm sorry to cut you off. I beat them to it before you can get, because they're all thinking the same thing. Oh shit, and everybody
Bringing the Zillow estimate?
No, it goes for Zillow. But so I bring it
About Zillow and a lot.
No, I just bring it up before because you know what they're thinking. Anybody that comes to you, they look at Zillow. Number one, that's what they go to. So when I show them the comparable sales right in front of them and I show them the details, whatever, that's when I say, I know you may have seen on Zillow, blah, blah, blah. This is their zest.
I think it's
So,
more comparison too. Like because I do the same thing, and it's more about like these are the comparables. Like I'm looking at this. Zillow is not a person looking, right? Literally algorithms to consume.
You're leading me right into my next point. Hold on. So it's also at that point where if the house has unique characteristics, if it's a 3-family, if it's a 2-family in Morristown that's vacant, if it's close to the downtown, if it has brand new kitchens, you can bring that up. There's a lot of things that Zillow doesn't know about your house that I do. And I've been doing this for a very long time, and there's been plenty of situations where Zillow has been wrong by over $200,000. And it's my job to protect you from making that mistake, but also securing the most for your house. It's a confidence. Your house has 2 brand new kitchens. It could go 200 grand over asking, but you have to follow my game plan. I know the unique characteristics of your house.
I feel as though I brought that up. I think it's building more trust in you because I'm leading the way with already telling them about the whole Zillow thing, and they feel more confidence in me. They're like, oh, okay, this guy is looking at.
I'll be honest with you. I wouldn't bring up the Zillow thing unless they bring it up, because Zillow is not a reputable source for any information. It's good for listings. They go there for listings.
Everybody goes there.
They go there for listings.
So I kind of bring that up too, so in the listing appointment, like to beat them to it, because I had that happen to me where they was, this estimate is this, and you're deal.
For my when I do comps, I actually already have I have my comps, and I always go to Zillow, so I know what number they're thinking, or a ballpark.
Right.
And then also comps. Exactly. And then also RPR. I go with those things, and I kind of you have an idea, and you can get in the ballpark. You should be able to get. I mean, you're gonna hit everyone. No, probably not, but you can get in the ballpark of what they probably are.
Because sometimes they won't even tell you.
Right.
They're already thinking it. Yeah. But they're not even going to mention Zillow to you.
Yeah.
Because I've seen that happen in situations too, where it's like, oh, when I didn't get a list, oh, well, and I find out later on it's because of the damn Zillow.
Well, your CMA is going to have a number, like a Zillow number, where it gives high end, low end, right? From RPR. Your CMA is going to have that. And I always say, look at the CMA that I brought you and look at Zillow. CMA is like a Zillow is like your uncle who hasn't bought a house in 40 years, who lives in under the bench in the park and doesn't know anything about life, and he's giving you a price of what the home is worth. And my CMA is like an educated realtor using information and knowledge and experience. So this is the real number. One of these is going to secure you top dollar for your home, and one is going to waste you a lot of time on the market. I started using a term poisoned because somebody else, a client actually used it. They said, I'm interviewing a lot of realtors and I want to come up with the perfect list price because I know if I list it too high, it's going to poison the property. I think that's a great analogy because if you list it too high, it does become poisoned. And if it sits on the market for a while, you have to lower it and it falls apart and people get cold feet. The property is poisoned. So it's just a good something, you will build your arsenal of tools and words when you go on these appointments. You just got to keep going on appointments.
But to your question, I felt I lost a listing one time. I feel because I was aggressive enough. So like the follow-up is like you said, everything is situational. I also feel like they called the wrong Jeanette because it was a Jeanette that listed. I'm like, I think they wanting me. Confused. But that's just what I'm saying to myself to feel better. But I do feel that even like a few of the things that he mentioned, Dave, I would have brought something, right? They were ready to, I even brought the agreement with me. I think that's where I messed up when I brought the agreement with me. And they were like, okay, we're just going to put this right here. Gotta think about it, So it was like, but if I would have followed up the right way, I think I would have that vibe. So don't not follow up. It's just that everything is situation, like the amount of aggression you put or aggressiveness that you put or size really doesn't matter.
We're done. We're doing free headshots for you guys. So feel free to take pictures for your 2025 marketing. Perfect. So that was a training, guys. Thanks for watching. And if you're a realtor watching this and you're looking to join a brokerage, we are hiring. We have a great split, great cap. Stay tuned for more cool videos and make sure you like and subscribe.